Two patients from the same family in England have tested positive for coronavirus. The first cases to be recorded in Britain.
Several days later.
From this evening, I must give the British people a very simple instruction. You must stay at home.
Yes, indeed. So, who wants to go first on Blindside Broadside?
Should I go first because it's from our show together?
You know, normally this would take place on Raw or Warwick Student Radio Station, but due to the current circumstances, not just at Warwick but all around the world, we're having to make do.
Hello there, good morning. It's 10 o'clock and welcome back to another edition of Front Page with me, Noah Keat.
Hello and welcome to What a Rawful Year. Thank you all so much for joining us today. I'm really excited.
Yes, so tonight is about celebrating your student radio station, Raw 12:51 AM, in a year like no other. A year that has certainly challenged the station. It's challenged its executive committee more than we probably like to admit and announce. And it's also challenged our members.
Yeah, it's so crazy to be able to look back on this year. Normally around this time we would be sitting in a nice hall somewhere, all dressed up to get to celebrate the year with each other, having a nice 3-course meal and lots of hugs. But unfortunately, for some, maybe fortunate, I don't know, we will be broadcasting live to Facebook and YouTube tonight instead, just as a chance to say thank you to everyone who's helped us all year and to celebrate that even though it has been a rawful year, there's been a lot of love and light as well.
There has, you know, we've got to adapt to the times, and this is another way we've had to adapt this year here at Raw. But the one thing is, with most stories, we should probably start at the beginning, you know, because the main difference is with this story, we know how it ends, and we know that there's a very bright future on the horizon for Raw. So I think we need to first go back to the beginning and have a rundown throughout the year. But first of all, we should probably introduce ourselves. For those of you who don't know us, if you don't know us, to be fair, you're probably quite a sane person who hasn't had the pleasure of our company this year in any way, shape or form. But I am one of your co-station managers, Lucy Ferry-Stocks.
And I'm the other co-station manager for now, Sian Bolton.
Yes, we are going to be taking you down a trip, a bit of a walk around memory lane, looking back at the main events from the past year. So I really think we should start What a Rawful Year at the beginning, shouldn't we, Sian?
Yes, I think it was almost a baptism of fire, us taking over the role. It was crazy to think back to exec elections last year when our exec took over their new roles. We all sat in a nice room cramped together, and I don't think COVID was even mentioned at that point in early March. It wasn't even something that was on our radar, and we have seen it all really. But yeah, I think I just want to take this opportunity to first off thank the 2019 to 2020 exec committee. They left us in such a good position to be able to go forward without even realizing how important that would be. So I just thank all of you for all of your hard work throughout the year and leaving us in such a great position to take over. I'm sorry we didn't get to celebrate with you and give you all hugs, but I know sometime soon we will.
Yes, so everyone on that exec is the reason why Raw has still been able to keep going this year. All the on-air departments, to visual, to the off-air team, and to the former station managers, Luke and Connor. Those guys handed the station over to us during a time that we thought we'd have a nice, normal, chill year. We had plans, we had meetings with every single member of our new exec committee, and literally as soon as we did that, the whole world went to chaos. But without you guys, we wouldn't have been able to take over the station this year in the good and amazing condition that it was in and work on that. So we are incredibly grateful.
Yeah. So after we found out about COVID, I remember I was sitting in the office with about 15 other people, very cramped together, when we got the email from Stuart Croft saying that exams were going to be online, and it was very shocking and no one could get their head around it. But we thought, it's fine, we'll be back for term 3. And then Easter holidays came around, didn't they, Lucy? And it was about week 1 or 2 when me and Lucy had to make a big decision.
Yes, a big decision. I think that sort of has followed throughout the year. We've made one decision after another repeatedly. And at the time, whilst the apocalypse was sort of starting to take shape, for this is a reference to our exec that I dubbed COVID-19 the apocalypse from the very beginning. And it's nice to see that it's stuck. But our main thing was we had to decide to close the station. Now, this was at the very beginning of the Easter holidays. Sian and I spent many an hour on a video call discussing this, debating this, and what to do next. But we did it before Boris Johnson's national lockdown. So I think we had excellent hindsight. We thought ahead of the game.
Yeah, and I remember me and Lucy were sitting on a FaceTime call when we published a very dramatic post telling everyone that we'd closed the station, but it wouldn't be for long. And that even though we couldn't be in person, we would be in spirit, and we were just waiting there, I think, for anarchy to kick off, because it's a 50-year-old station and no one's ever closed it before, and everyone was so supportive, and we didn't get any backlash from that, or backlash from any of the decisions that we've had to make this year that we wouldn't have wanted to make when we started SMs. So yeah, I just also want to take this opportunity to thank literally every person that has been in RAW, that is messaged us support, that has been a member, all of our alumni. I just know that RAW means so much to so many people for so many years, and I think it must have been really hard to put your trust in me and Lucy, and to put your trust in our exec, to take you through this difficult time and take RAW through this difficult time. So thank you all for just being so supportive and not questioning our judgment on so many decisions. We've really appreciated just that. It's made a massive difference to us.
Yeah, it really has. Taking that decision to close the station wasn't an easy one. And we expected a backlash, as Sian said, but then the whole country went into lockdown. And it sort of gave us a bit of perspective that what we were doing really didn't mean the end of the world. But, RAW is a station that has been going for 50 years, as many of you will know, with our RAW at 50 celebrations this year. So we are going to be talking even more about this. But I have to say, we're getting some very nice comments, like, RAW's amazing, full of us. So that's good. We haven't annoyed everyone this year. It's nice to see. But yes, we are going to be covering everything that we've done this year, as we've said. From RAW at 50 to our charity week, to general programming within the station, different themes and topics we've done, all the way down to our different departments. So these are all our on-air departments, as well as our visual team, and those that are behind the scenes. The ones that you don't see are publicity and marketing, our secretary, our treasurer. Everyone has worked so hard this year on our exec to keep the station going, and we won't be here without the members. The members made RAW what it is. The members kept the content going throughout term 3 on the Mixcloud. The members kept us going in term 1 when we weren't able to open at the beginning of the year, and haven't been able to open since. But that's a minor point that we won't reflect on too much. But hopefully we are going to see the reopening of the station soon.
Yeah, definitely. And I think
have to ask, do you have a moment in the year where you thought, oh no, it's all going wrong? Was there a moment where you actually thought, you know what, let's not bother with the job. We'll just go on holiday. We'll take the job. Next day we'll resign and we'll have a holiday together. What do you think?
I think you're backing me into a corner with this question. I think there's been many moments where you know, the summer holidays, term 3, start of term 1, that we were literally right on the cusp of opening the station when the second lockdown was announced. And all of those moments, I genuinely didn't think Raw would be able to make it through the year, let alone finish the year on such a high with such a great exec committee going forward. And I genuinely think the reason for that isn't us, and it's not even our wonderful exec, it is the membership. Every single person that's done a show on Raw this year or guested on a show has kept Raw alive, and I am eternally grateful to all of you.
Yes, that is what has kept us going, and it's something that has it's reignited my faith in Raw. There have been several times throughout the year that, you know, we've sort of gone, oh no, what's happening? What's going on? But seeing Raw members rally round, produce great content and get involved has certainly restored my faith. Wouldn't you agree, Sian?
Absolutely. I think one of the great things about this year is that we've had to adapt, and that we've had to try our hardest to come up with new ways of programming, and it's actually led to some amazing things. So I think our programming this year has been absolutely awesome. So thank you to everyone involved.
It certainly has, and we will be talking more to our program controller, Rin, very shortly about that. But I think what we need to do is we need to start at a place where most people do get involved with the station. And that is with our on-air departments. Wouldn't you agree, Sian?
Absolutely. I love our on-air departments. Me and Lucy were both on-air departments in a very different year for what was an on-air department. But I think they're kind of the heart of the station. It's what keeps the station on track, and keeps us producing amazing content.
It certainly is. So we should take this opportunity to welcome our department heads. 4 out of our 5 department heads to the stream. We have Sophie Wood, who is our head of music. We have Charlie Humphrey, our head of arts. Josh Sim, our head of sports. And Enoch Mukungu, our head of news. Good evening, guys. Thank you for taking the time to join us.
Hello.
Good evening. Hello.
Everyone looks so enthusiastic. You know, the enthusiasm is overwhelming. How many streams have you guys been on this year? You know, I've probably lost count, especially Josh and Enoch, who have been hosting the sorts more of these streams. We're going to be talking about this shortly. But Sian, where should we start with our on-air departments? Where do you think?
I think we will start really randomly with news. It's one of my favourite departments to guest on, so I'd love to talk to Enoch more.
Yes, Enoch, would you like to give us a rundown even? You know, I'll get my words out in a coherent order. Some things haven't changed since I've been on air behind that desk. I still can't talk about what the news department have been doing this year.
I think I've been unable to talk as a genetic trait in the news department because I also cannot speak. So starting from last, back all the way back in term 3, the news department, sort of stealing from the sports department, started doing online live streams. And we got a whole bunch of other different role members to get involved, like Johnny Jenkins, Cam Hall, and Noah Keat, and Scott, and Scott Montague, and we all actually. There we go. Can't speak. Got someone's surname. And when we all got involved in doing live streams, and it was a wonderful, wonderful time over those 10 weeks. When we came back in term 1, but sort of emotionally term 2 for me of being head of news. We kept Insight as a live stream to get as many new people as possible. We also had the US general election, one of the best nights of my life, but also a night that didn't end for over a week. Because I didn't sleep until they actually announced the result almost a week after they actually had the voting. Then this term we had, of course, the wonderful big decision, which many people watching probably did watch as well, and I think that was an absolute fantastic success. Thanks to people like Lucy, thanks to Cam Hall, thanks to Will Kingswood, we all helped out, and Johnny Jenkins all helped out in making sure it's an absolute smashing success on the Raw side.
It's really nice to hear. You know, you've talked about so much over the year, and also this is the opportunity to thank people. So yes, if people haven't already gathered, we are going to get as many thank yous in this evening as we can. So your name will probably be mentioned, so you really should be watching. So next, I think we should go to sport. Josh, you know, this year you were one of the pilots for the foreign stream. You discovered StreamYard. You discovered all these different ways that we can stream to our social medias and keep in touch with members without actually broadcasting on air. So, you know, how has that been for you as our head of sport?
Yeah, well, I mean, who knew watching a lot of YouTube would pay off in the long run, and kind of stumble across StreamYard, and that's sort of a very happy accident that happened, and I'm very glad that people, the department leaders for department shows and people doing their own shows have all sort of come around and discovered it, which has been a joy to watch. And yeah, it's almost, I think in a couple of weeks it'll be a year since we did the first sort of Quorum stream. We sort of piloted it during the Easter break, and I remember that we were still figuring it out. Internet's crashed. We had a lot of people on, but it sort of worked. I guess it worked enough to be given a second go, and then that happened. Obviously, we didn't have any sport this time last year to cover, so we sort of specialized on the German Bundesliga, because that was German football sort of was the first thing to come back, and so we did a lot of specialist stuff on that, which was a lot of fun. We also started incorporating sort of interviews with people who ordinarily we wouldn't be able to get to Warwick, but were at home, and that was made a lot easier for us. And especially interviews for Pride Week, Black History Month, and Women's Week throughout the year. That's been exceptional to get people talking about all three of those sort of respective topics. Yeah, I don't know how much there's so much. We launched a weekly show for other sports other than football, which is great. And yeah, that's pretty much it, I think.
I was wondering, Josh, is there any particular people that you wanted to shout out and thank for being on the sports department this year?
Yeah, there's a few. I'll try run through their names as quickly as I can. So obviously Deputy Ben Parkinson's been terrific. Joe Spagnoli has sort of got himself out of student radio retirement to turn up for our Quorum streams, which has been great. Luke James, the Boss Sport Eds, it's been a lot of collaboration, which has been cool. And then the current students we've had Eleanor Burgess, Cam Hall, Anton Larson, Curtis Lung, Jay Smalley, Jack South, and X1, Jacob X1 as well. And then also we've had Ed Farrer come on for a bit. Last year with Luke Edwards, Kylan Stillwood, Dan Ralph, and Dami Lola Olokan as well. So all those people have been a massive help. So huge thank you from me.
That's
really nice. Awesome. I think sports department, that's meant a lot to people, and particularly alumni, which I think you've reflected. So thank you, Josh, for being a big pioneer for streaming for us. It's really put Raw on a track I think it's going to continue for many, many years. I think maybe now we could go to my old position, head of arts, Charlie Humphrey.
Hi. So yeah, arts I took over this year, and it was a wonderful opportunity to do all this, to at least have the opportunity to think about doing the stuff that I wanted to do until COVID came along and ruined quite a lot of my plans. Had this been a normal year, I'd have taken the arts department to the Edinburgh Fringe and done loads of podcasts about it, and I would also done all night live streams for the award ceremonies. But despite all that, despite arts being one of the worst hit departments and generally the worst hit industry in the pandemic, I'm glad that I've been able to keep it going. I introduced a new game show to the arts department, as well as alongside Articulate, our talk show. I introduced Artsing About, which is a game show to really bring the sillier side out of people who come on arts, because we talk about quite a lot of serious subjects in there. We talk about mainly how bad the arts has been hit, what needs to change, really, how it evolves, how it survives. So having Artsing About as a sort of counterpart was really such a nice way to lighten up the arts part in the minute. Yeah, that's the only considering everything else closed down, we haven't actually been able to do much in the department, which is sad. So yeah.
No, it's still nice to hear that the arts department still has had some life in it, and it's still been broadcasting on Raw. It is really nice to see. It really reinstates my faith that we're still able to keep going, and you're still able to highlight the importance of arts and take over from Sian and carry on doing that over the next year. But one department we have also got to come to is our head of music, who ultimately, without music, we wouldn't really be a radio station in any sense of the word, really, would we? So, Sophie, give us a rundown. What has music been doing during many a lockdown this year?
I think much like Charlie, I had a lot of big plans to incorporate live music in the music department overall. Unfortunately, they couldn't happen, but like Josh found at the interviews, we found out we could suddenly interview people all over the world without thinking, because it was the norm. So we started up a whole new series, which was really exciting, called Music Meets, brand new introducing kind of music interviews, which was massively helped by our deputy of interviews called Harry Law, and he had a couple of people help him behind the scenes. So that was Mikhail Christo and Jessica Korn. So thank you very much to you guys. Music Meets has been revolutionary for Raw. We finally have a branding for our music interviews, which makes it 10 times more interesting. It started off with this band called Sunburn. We've done people from Bears and Trees, if you know them, off TikTok, and then AJJ, another big one, and we're working on more as we speak. Moving on to other stuff we've done in the music department, unusual shows like Chart Show we couldn't do because of COVID, so we brought in a whole new show called Musician Nutrition to finally discuss music news on Raw. We've been speaking about loads of interesting things. My favourite conversation personally was the Women's Week discussion, where we spoke loads about the music industry and how to start supporting women more. Just a couple more shout outs before I pass back over to Lucy and Sian. Lewis Dobbs and Simi Perksack. Simi was our head of production this year. Without her, music shows just would not have existed. And then Lewis Dobbs was our playlist coordinator. He did an amazing job, and I have not had any complaints this year about what's on our playlist, which is amazing. And yeah, it's just been an amazing year for music. We've grown so much as a department.
One thing I think we should finish this sort of section off by saying, do you guys have a moment this year, from whether it be from your department or the station, keep it short, keep it sweet, that has been your sort of moment that's gone, this is Raw, this is proper Raw, this is student radio, Raw style? You know, every member of Raw should know what I mean when I say that. Has there been? I'm talking the last year, you know, because we've got to keep it COVID related.
I have one. This is from last term. We all share the same StreamYard that we use to broadcast all these shows, including with some ordinary members like Johnny Jenkins. I was hosting a news show. Johnny Jenkins was guesting on that news show, but Johnny had to leave early. So we arranged that he would leave very, very silently about 45 past, and then we'll keep the show going for 10 minutes, and that would be that. Now, the thing is, Johnny was so used to leaving by ending his show that it had become an automatic response for him. So 45 past comes along. I go, "Oh, Johnny, thank you for joining us today." Johnny goes, thanks for having Enoch. He disappears. We keep talking for a second, and I realize we're not live anymore. The system has stopped. Because to leave the stream, Johnny has pressed the end broadcast button, and he's just disappeared.
You know, that's sort of the attitude he has. You know, if he's not in the room, nothing works. I can get away with saying that. Josh, what's your Raw moment of the year?
Oh gosh, I think it's just every StreamYard hijink that's happened. I mean, there's been one where there's been similar to Enoch, where I thought I wrapped up, did the end goodbye thing, and then left the room instead of ending the stream, leaving the panelists on just kind of like deer in headlights, and then realized I had to log back in and then end the stream again. So yeah, look for that one in the archives on the Raw Sport YouTube channel. Go look for that one. Yeah,
streaming is such a brilliant thing with so many pitfalls that could possibly happen. Sophie, what's your Raw moment of the year?
So for Musician Nutrition, we've had to do pre-records, which has involved recording on Zoom to then put these kind of shows on air. Except we were filming one about 2 weeks ago, actually. It's probably the most recent one. And we got 15 minutes into Musician Nutrition, which requires a couple of songs being played and quite a good in-depth talk about one of our topics. 15 minutes in, I suddenly realized record hadn't been on the entire time, and this is after we'd had about 5 glitches in the first place. So I think we'd spent the first half an hour, what was meant to be recording time, talking to literally no one and nothing, and it meant my poor panelists had to repeat their introductions about 5 different times. So yeah, that was my little technical mishap this year, but also one of the funniest moments I've experienced during recording.
Bless you. Charlie, what's yours, my love? And you're on mute. You know what?
That is my Raw moment. I thought I would reenact it. No, term 1, week 10, I had to pre-record Articulate, and Enoch, being my most regular guest on the show, decided, you know what? I will not introduce myself this time. I will refuse to be called Enoch. I am the baby Jesus. And for the whole show, for the whole recording, it's just me and Enoch on Articulate. He is the baby Jesus.
Why? You know what? Why not? You know, I'm glad this is only student radio. Flipping heck. But guys, thank you for your moments. Thank you for taking the time to come on the stream and talk about your departments this year. We really appreciate from Sean and I as SMs, but also as your friends. We really appreciate the time and effort you've put into the departments, because Raw wouldn't still be done without you guys. We would also like to thank everyone that those guys have mentioned whilst talking. Thank you to all those for helping. Thank you to your department deputies as well for getting even more involved in the station. But we really, really, really do appreciate it. It's been exciting. It's been a good one. But thank you for joining us, guys. Please do come back later in the stream, because we will be having a round off towards the end. But one thing we wanted to do this night was recognise certain members of RAW. Isn't that right, Sian?
Yeah. It's a tradition every year that the station managers give out one award, which is called Outstanding Contribution. And this normally goes to a member that's just gone above and beyond. So we're very excited. This is our first of the awards this evening. And we're really excited to be giving out this award as station managers.
Yes, it's certainly a highlight now. Normally we would be doing this in front of a room of people with tables and everyone would stand up and clap. Like, please feel free to stand up and clap. You know, we're not stopping you. We won't be, because it won't be very good, but you know, here we are. So this is something that, the one thing is, every member of RAW, no matter who walks through our studio door, our office door, whether you're behind the desk and behind a microphone or behind a camera, or whether you're just working behind the scenes, every member of RAW gives something to the station and leaves a little bit behind, leaving it in a much better place than it was originally. However, there are some that go above and beyond that call of duty.
Yeah, and there's a particular member who we think's gone absolutely above and beyond from the very first day they ever walked into the RAW studios as a fresher.
Definitely. Technically, their presentation skills on air are second to none. They are a natural, and they have more than a promising career ahead of them.
Yeah, absolutely. They've worked within every aspect of our society, from presenting to production to training and the visual department, and they've thrown themselves into every aspect of RAW, which is really the best part about being a member.
Yeah, definitely. But to be a member of RAW, you have to have a go at everything. And not only do they show a lot of promise, you know, career-wise, they are an incredibly kind individual who is more than willing to help others. They are willing to give advice. They're willing to motivate, to get people involved in the station, and also the society side, because people forget, yes, we broadcast on air, but we also have socials and other stuff behind the scenes where we want our members to have fun. And they have done all of this even without being a member of our executive committee.
Yeah, and I think that's so important, is that all of our members at RAW can get equally involved, whether they're elected to our exec or not, and we value all of you. They've coordinated and hosted landmark hustings, interviews and broadcasts throughout their time at the station. I've had many people come up to me and say, I'm not leaving university until I'm interviewed by this person on RAW. And they've left the department they're involved in a much more confident position than it was previously.
Definitely. I've had the privilege of knowing this person since my beginning of my first year, and on air, their show has become a part of the furniture of the station. Genuinely, most people, even if you know RAW, if you don't know RAW, you know this show by some way, shape or mean, no idea why. But it is something that their show and their content will be missed next year, especially as they're graduating.
Yeah, maybe it's all the posts in the freshers groups, I don't know. But I don't think this will be the last we hear from this person's rather iconic name, I think. And wherever this person ends up, we as the former station managers and all of RAW will be behind them the whole way. And we hope they love being an alumni of RAW as much as they've loved being a member.
Yes, and they better come back and do one of those career talks when they're making it somewhere. So without further ado, we've teased enough. If you haven't guessed already, which most people probably will have done, we would like to announce our Outstanding Contribution to the Station Award to the one and only Johnny Jenkins, who has been a part of the furniture. I have to say personally, one of my very good friends since beginning of my first year. We met at a news department meeting, and we never left. But we have nice things that people have said about Johnny, don't we, Sian?
Yes, I asked for some quotes about Johnny, so here we go. The first one is calling Johnny Jenkins a titan of the news department is an understatement. To list all the amazing things Johnny has done for Raw News would take more time than this stream has, and it would ignore all of the support he's offered that a list of achievements can't quantify, and how much he's improved Raw with just his presence. The best thing I can say about Johnny Jenkins is that I wouldn't be here without him. I wish he would do a master's at Warwick because it hurts to lose him, but I know he's off to bigger and better things. He absolutely deserves this award.
More than definitely. And I've got another one. Johnny's always been such a great, inspiring presence around the station. And this year, he has been even more helpful with big major events we've done. He's always taken part in specialist programming, and even in these circumstances, took the Johnny Jenkins show to the next level in many ways. So I think we can all agree Johnny's been such a big part of the station, and we would like, personally as SMs, but also friends, to take the opportunity to say thank you, Johnny. Your time, your effort, and everything you've done since your beginning of the station has just been brilliant.
Yeah, thank you, Johnny. I think you're definitely going to be a very missed part of Raw next year. I'm sure everyone else can agree with me that. So yeah, thank you so much for everything you've done and for hosting some brilliant shows. And I can't wait to see you on every single news channel in the near future.
You know, you saw it here first. Yes. So we've talked about our on-air departments, but the one thing that is runs all the way through Raw, through our on-air departments, to everyone who is just doing a show on air, is our programming. Now, this has been a challenge with the onset of COVID. Certainly has. It's been and as an interesting one. So the person we should probably welcome to talk about this would be our lovely program controller, Rinda Chifer. Good evening.
Hi. Oh my god, I'm so excited for this. You guys are absolutely killing it, by the way. And also, I'm sorry that I couldn't log on to StreamYard.
No, that was my fault. But anyway, this setting has made me realise I've got a rather big head, so I do apologise for that. Thank you for joining us, Rin. Programming is something that is always so important to Raw. It's the foundations of Raw. But I think this year, programming has been so vital to everything we've done. So first off, I just want to ask you, how's it been being program controller this year of all years?
An interesting experience. Did not foresee any of it coming, but honestly, you guys have spoken about this already, just decisions being made one after the other and just keeping it going. And I think one of the most important things that were there for me was just people really want to get involved. Like, this is something I think I massively personally underestimated, and I was really afraid that we wouldn't get people involved in this way because it was clearly not the same as before. But it was definitely worth it. And, you know, now that this year is coming to an end and my time as PC is coming to an end, it's just made me realize how much I actually enjoyed it. Like, sure, there were hard times, but overall, it's been an amazing experience, and I just feel really flattered to have been PC this year.
It's really nice to hear. You know, we've had many a meeting. We've planned. I think the one thing we've learned this year is that learn not to plan. You know, if you plan, the plans don't happen. So, you know, we just roll with it. We just accept it. We planned to open the studio. Several times that didn't happen. We planned to broadcast on air. Things went bang and tech broke. You know, we make it work. We adapt. But would you like to give us what sort of things in programming has Raw got involved this year for those that might not have seen or have missed certain things over the past year?
I mean, just putting this list together, honestly, it's overwhelming how much we have actually done. So we've done Pride Week, we've done Eurovision, we've done Freshers Week programming, which again, they've all taken such different shapes to what it normally was. We've had the relaunch of the breakfast schedule, just Raw breakfast in general, which again, I didn't think would ever happen. You know, Black History Month, all of the specialist programming, Raw at 50, Christmas programming, and Raw Women's Week. You know, there's just been so much happening, and this is just on the surface. I feel like it's just the biggest things. It's been a really exciting year.
Definitely, yeah, absolutely. It's been so exciting. I think at the start of the year, thinking that we were going to end up like this, it's just been amazing, and that's why we want to do this stream, is to thank everyone that's been involved. So I want to ask, what's been your highlight of the year? And maybe also onto that, what have been some of your favourite shows and content that Raw's put out this year?
Oh my god, a single highlight? Oh, it's honestly, I know this is kind of like, you know, Sean, you can relate to me on this. Eurovision has been such a big thing of my time just in Raw. I love Eurovision besides that, but the support it has in Raw has been amazing. And I've one of the most Raw things I think that I personally relate to was when I had the great idea to sort of do a Eurovision show and didn't realize that it would take 4 hours of recording for like each single session, and the fact that people sat there for 4 hours like just recorded these shows is still like incredible to me. But I think honestly, there's been so many shows this year, and I felt so lucky to be actually able to see, like, to kind of get to know a little bit, you know, the people behind them, to get to listen to all of them and to go through them. One of my absolute favorites has been Legends of the Chart, which is presented by Bailey Agbai and Sienna Bentley, and you know they've been absolutely incredible. They did I felt so educated by that show, because essentially they would spend 1 or 2 hours each week, you know, talking about a single, like, you know, very well-known musician. And I realized how little I knew about them. They've just done, you know, an absolutely amazing show. I've just loved it so much. They're so funny, and their music taste, you know, next level. I also want to thank the breakfast team. You know, I mentioned that Raw Breakfast came back. I didn't think it was going to come back. I thought this was going to be the most difficult thing ever, because, you know, Raw Breakfast for me was something where I just went to the studio, met a bunch of people that, you know, turned out to be some of my best friends in Raw. And I was just so excited to bring it back, and I'm so happy that people got involved. And I just want to shout out Rebecca Cole, Noah Keat, Cam Hall, Dinya Simos, Jude Wilkinson, Oscar Redioff, and Harry Law for getting involved, because they actually did this in a global pandemic. Raw Breakfast is, you know, a lot about meeting new people, and they managed to do it all online. And I'm just so excited for them. I think I really hope they stick around in Raw and do more things, because it's been amazing to see the effort and the hard work they've put into these shows. These are 2-hour shows. That's a lot of editing for a pre-record. It's been amazing. And, you know, Harry, Sophie spoke about him already, but he's gotten involved in so many different things. He was part of the charity stream for our charity broadcast. He's also music deputy. And, you know, he picked up Raw Breakfast really fast, by the way. I would just message him like, do you want to do this? And he was like, yes, and immediately signed up. He's just been so enthusiastic. I absolutely love it. Rebecca also did a bunch of other shows. She did a Glee show, you know, which I have a personal soft spot for. She also did like a mystery murder show, which was super exciting. And also just shout out to Noah again. He's been involved in so many different things, from Eurovision to just to news shows. He did his own show in Term 3, absolutely amazing. And he's been so helpful and such a great positive presence in the society. And finally, I just want to give a shout out to Neil Joshi, who's been presenting Virtual Vinyl over the last 2 terms, and he's just been so good at getting it together on time. He also helped out with the charity stream, and just an amazing guy. It's been so great to work with all of these people this year. So yeah, just want to say a massive thank you to all of them.
Yes, the one thing is, I think Rina said many times, that without you guys producing content, we would not still be here as a station. So we are incredibly grateful to all of you for doing that. But we also have to say thank you to you for coordinating this programming this year. You know, without you guys, without you sort of saying, here's a schedule that might be on Mixcloud, that might be broadcast live, that might, you know, you might do it in a studio, you might record it at home, but here's some form of schedule, here's how you sign up, here's how you get involved. But thank you for coordinating all this year and for working on the specific programming events. We do really appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll be coming on to more.
I just want to add, you've been absolutely incredible, and you've adapted through everything. For people that don't know, we were so ready to open the station. Rin had an amazing show application thing set up with like 2 tiers of people, and everything was ready. And you managed to just adapt so quickly to everything. But not only that, but keep the interest, and keep shows fun, which is so important. I think we couldn't have asked for a better PC this year, and I think you're going to be the most incredible station manager. So I'm so excited that you're taking over this position, Rin. So
thank you guys. Thank you so much.
We're going to get more onto that. We're going to get more onto that before we all get, oh my God, it's all the end of the year. You know, we're not getting emotional yet. So thank you, Rin. We will be bringing her back later on in the stream. But one thing I should probably go to the comments first of all. I have to say, James Waterhouse, one of our alumni, one of Charles' very close friends, is playing this on a home cinema screen. And I have to say, James, that is not too extra. That is just about right. You know,
absolutely. If you're not playing this on a home cinema screen, why not? Like,
you're missing out.
Exactly.
Missing out completely. But yes, it's been interesting. But one thing, we have to go from programming more into that a bit more and have a look at our big successes over the past year. So there's been some landmark events, haven't there, Sian?
Isn't that crazy? Just think about that for a second, that we can talk at the end of the year about big successes this year, when actually I thought in March time last year that the big success of the year was going to be keeping the station open, and to some extent has been a big success. Yeah, I think it's so amazing that we've been able to have these events that have brought in membership, have brought in alumni, and we wouldn't have been able to do it without all of the people here and everyone watching and all of our alumni. So thank you. But I think we'll bring on some people that have been involved in these big events to chat about them more, because me and Lucy's face might be getting a bit boring now.
It definitely is. Thank goodness we haven't done a show together all the way on. Yeah, people won't be tuning in. So we have to welcome to the stream our head of visual, X1, otherwise known as Jacob, also our secretary, Carl Henningway, and the lovely Oscar Redioff, who is our head of post-production working in the visual team. Good evening, guys. Thank you for taking the time to join us. It's lovely to see you all again on a screen. We've not seen each other in person, but we shan't go down that route. First of all, to you guys, Jacob and Oscar, you have been working very heavily in the visual department, working on big successes over the year. Carl, you've been our secretary, manning a lot of things behind the scenes and making sure we are in touch with our members. So I'll come down to your favourite moments. Well, let's start off with that, you know, before we get into two of our big things this year. X1, Jacob, give me your raw moment of the year. You know what? It can be as funny or it can be as serious as you like.
If I were to think out loud, there's so many going on right now, but one that just stands out and just like, I'm like, whoa, that happened, would be Raw at 50, where I was involved in a project where I thought, oh, it's going to be a laugh, see what goes on, where Ed Farrer brought people from the 1980s and 60s all the way to the 2020s and created something that was just unbelievable. And I was just sort of along for the ride and learnt loads. I was just like overwhelmed. It was fantastic.
Lovely. Carl, what's yours?
Honestly, I think my favourite moment would be during one of the streams during Charity Week when we were streaming games. And it just happened to be my stream when we finally passed our goal for Charity Week for raising £1,251. Myself and Mia, who were running the stream at the time, just lost it. We're just shouting, we're like laughing and just reveling in the moment that we finally achieved what we set out to achieve, which we really didn't think we'd do.
That's really nice to hear. And Oscar, what's yours?
I've got so many, to be honest.
You know, because you joined our exec fairly late into the proceedings.
Yeah, I did.
You still
really
threw
late.
yourself in there and got involved anyway, which really epitomises Raw. So come on, what's your Raw? I should say RAWful moment, but that means it was a bad moment. What was your Raw moment?
I'd have to say doing the radio shows in term 2. That's been absolutely really fun. Doing all the editing for that, I would say I'm not going to miss it. Absolutely not going to miss it. And I would also have to say being on Enoch's Inside when I first joined Raw a year ago was absolutely amazing, and I had time of my life, and I was like, you know what, I'm joining Raw just because of this.
Excellent.
Amazing.
Side note, you did come on my news shows when I was head of music.
I did come on your show as well.
Thank you. Thank you. I had to get that in.
In fact, Lucy.
Yes.
Sorry, that's just the way it works.
But we should probably talk about Raw at 50, shouldn't we, Sian?
Yes, Jacob mentioned it. Raw at 50 is my personal favourite moment of the year of Raw, because it just so happened that the global pandemic just had to align with our 50th birthday. And that could have been a really dull moment. You know, it could have easily just been something that we overlooked. We did a social media post for it, and we might have done without one member that I really, really quickly want to mention. Not even quickly, he deserves the thing, but Ed Farah, he's not even a member. He left university 2 years ago, but he has been the main organizer for Raw at 50. He dragged people together from all different walks of life to organize it, and he managed to get alumni back that are big names that brought so much attention to the station, and we were able to do 50 hours of broadcasting live, thankfully, on our air, that really showcase what Raw is and what it's been for the last 50 years. I also just want to add, we asked our exec for shout outs earlier in the week, and someone sent in one about Ed that I'd like to read out now quickly. They said, Ed is obviously a Raw icon, and he has done so much just from what I know for Raw, and he's really changed it for the best. But for this year specifically, organising Raw at 50, insane, absolutely insane. 50 hours worth of shows, reaching out to alumni, sorting out interviews, working with this current exec, and all of that in the middle of a pandemic with everything done remotely. I don't know how he did it. He is a superhuman. He is a huge inspiration to me. I can't imagine Raw at 50 would be like without him. He's always so supportive and willing to help. And they've added "So we stan." So we stan. So thank you to Ed, and also thank you to literally everyone that helped on Raw at 50, all of our alumni that came back to produce shows, all of our alumni that came back to interview on shows. We love you all so much, and Raw wouldn't be what it is today without literally every single one of you. So thank you.
No, we definitely wouldn't be here. Jacob, do you have a favourite moment from Raw at 50 at all? As you were very involved in the middle of this storm that became Raw at 50.
I suppose there's quite a few that went on, but two that really stand out were producing the logo for Raw at 50. For those that don't know, the logo we produced went through weeks and weeks of names, adjustments, color changes. Oh, we don't like this line out. It was a journey creating that logo. We're really chuffed with what we got in the end. And the other thing would be producing the Pajama Armor show that myself and Alamede did, which was me in my new housemate's bedroom borrowing their mic, and then just hours and hours of retakes, because we thought, okay, this is a 50th anniversary special. We can't just come in and mess around. But those two moments really stood out.
Yeah. Raw at 50 was outstanding. So thank you so much to everything and everyone involved. I've also been told in the YouTube comments we should be shouting out to Mad Gav. So shout out to Mad Gav. That's great. So yeah, thank you so much to everyone involved in that. One of our other big successes this year has been our charity week, which has we did just a few weeks ago now. We've done a charity week every year for the last 5-6 years, but it's always been a charity broadcast, and this year was different. So Carl, you were the main organizer of charity week, so why was this year different?
This year was different for every single reason you could possibly imagine. I think the biggest difference was the fact that we weren't on air whatsoever. So essentially all the charity content was nothing to do with radio itself. And this was such an interesting way to start the charity week. We're thinking, what on earth can we do to raise money? Given that everything that we knew, everything that we'd done before, we couldn't do at all. But I was honestly, I have no idea how we managed to achieve what we managed to achieve. We had so many people running different events and different types of things we had going on. We had Alameda running the scavenger hunt online, which was so much fun to do. That was really funny. You had to find X1, which was interesting. We also had Rin running all the gaming streams. That went so brilliantly. They were so cool to watch, and so many people got involved with that. I can't even name all of them. To yourself, Sean and Lucy, you guys ran Rawdom Acts of Kindness, which raised a little bit of money and raised some spirits, doing some nice things for people. We had Sophie, who also worked on some stuff that didn't quite go through, but I really appreciate all the work she did regardless. And we ended up raising £1,386, which, whew, I have no idea. I at the beginning I was like, let's aim high, let's see what happens, and we smashed it. And I honestly so grateful to everyone who donated and got involved, because it was so much fun doing it, and we raised so much money for British Heart Foundation. It was brilliant.
It's very reassuring to see everyone rallying around donating to our charity stream. Though normally we would obviously do this as a continuous broadcast in the studio for a certain amount of time live, and getting people to do challenges and all sorts. And considering we had to turn that on its head completely and not be in the studio once, it was certainly mind-boggling. So thank you to everyone who got involved in Charity Week, whether that be something small or something big. One person, which I should also briefly mention here, that people are saying in the comments, is Julianne. Julianne was a big part of Raw at 50 doing shows, and she's also done special editions since. Jacob, you've been heavily involved with that, as was Adam Blunden. Any words for Julianne?
Oh, hold on. Yep. Julianne was one of the most amazing just people we'd met in our lifetime. At first, we went in just sort of like, oh, this is going to be a fun show to produce, get involved with, learn new tech. But just meeting Julianne, she was just so heartwarming and really cared, because at first it was just a meeting of, here's how we're going to do the tech. But it went on for an hour where she was talking to us about her life, how she went into radio, like what went on back then, and then just like talking to us about how we feel about stuff going on. It's just a fantastic experience.
Lovely, that is nice to hear. Oscar, I'm coming to you as we come to the end of this bit here. Do you have any advice for someone wanting to get involved in Raw? So why would you say get involved in Raw? As someone who joined the exec, not necessarily at the beginning of the year, who got involved in Raw rather later on in their time at Warwick Uni, not necessarily first day of year one, what advice would you give? I'm putting you on the spot now.
Yeah, putting me on the spot. It's advice is hard to give in this case, because I'd say it's just so much fun. It's enjoy every minute of it, because it's absolutely incredible, and the people working at Raw have just so much positive energy and so much willing to help. It gives me faith in humanity, I'd say, because everyone's lovely, everyone's fantastic, everyone puts in the effort to do everything, and everyone, you can rely on everyone in the society, and everyone's just, it's advice, I'd say, don't let anyone down.
You never could being a member of Raw. When a couple of other people that we do need to thank, especially in regards to Route 50, was Stephen Merchant. He obviously got involved a lot with doing his own show and coming back and gracing the Raw airways with his voice, which I think was one of the most exciting things. I'm sure that Ed Farrar, our former PC, will attest to that. And also one person, yes, I was about to say this, but Charlie Humphries mentioned as well, Liz, our former PC from last year, Elizabeth Pemble, she was instrumental in organising a lot of the production and behind the scenes of Raw at 50, from its initial formations when Liz and Ed were both on exec, all the way through carrying it through. Obviously, our current head of marketing, Alameda, is saying as well, Liz is getting a lot of shout outs, and she definitely deserves a lot of recognition for her time as well for putting into it, especially as she is now graduated from the uni. So definitely thank you, Liz. We do appreciate all your work. So thank you, you three, for joining us. We are going to be running out of time. We don't want to keep people here all evening, but thank you for taking the time to talk about the big successes from the year.
Yeah, I also just want to say there's probably 10 million people that we've forgotten to mention in this stream, just because everyone that's been involved in Raw this year, there's so many people, and we appreciate every single one of you. So yeah, thank you all so much for everything you do, and keep shouting out people in the comments, because I love the love that's coming from everything going on. But we're coming to the end of our stream. That's taken us up to the end of the year, really. We just had our last exec meeting yesterday, and it's been an amazing year, genuinely, even though our exec still hasn't had a picture of all of us. But it's okay.
We tried. You know what? When we were elected, because then we had by-elections and then COVID, that we still haven't got everyone in the same room at the same time. You never know. In the future, it might happen one day. Teams has become our second home, hasn't it?
Yes, and I am expecting us all getting invitations to Raw Awards next year. So just a hint for next exec.
That was so subtle there. I'm impressed.
I think this is a great time to thank all of our exec. We'll try and keep it quick because I know there's a lot of you. But you're all incredible, and we couldn't have done this year without you. So I just want to shout out to our marketing team, Alamade and Amy, the best marketing team we could ever have wished for, and they are absolutely amazing. Both of them joined our exec in the middle of it and adapted so well to everything, and our socials have grown throughout all of it. They're just the best team, so thank you to them.
Definitely. We also have to go on to our visual team. We've got Jacob, Oscar, Crawford, and James as well. Those guys have been working incredibly hard, ensuring that Raw, because this year it's more Raw's being more seen than heard, for want of a better phrase. Normally you just hear us on there, and this year we've had to adapt and go more down the visual route. So without you guys, we definitely wouldn't still be going right now, would we?
No, absolutely. We've got some mentions we sent in from other members of exec that really wanted to say something to do with our visual team. So someone said, for the short time he's been on exec, Oscar has done such awesome things, and he's always been really enthusiastic with everything, always bringing out great ideas for stuff to do, such as the Women's Week video, which was amazing. And also someone said, first and foremost, X1, Jacob, is an absolute legend. He's been so great, not only with the visual department's projects, but also with supporting everyone else with their projects too. He and Crawford made that awesome video for Pride. He did a ton of stuff for Raw at 50, and he has also been a great help with Big Decision, and that just scratches the surface. He is awesome, and he's amazing to work with. So yeah, he definitely deserves recognition.
We also can't mention our visual team without mentioning our heads of departments, who most of which you've seen this evening. Enoch, Charlie, Sophie, Josh and Chloe. You guys have made sure Raw continues broadcasting from our own station content, and even during a global pandemic, adapting to streams and really pioneering that and keeping that as something that Raw will definitely be continuing on in the future. We couldn't thank you guys enough for your time, dedication, especially when getting guests and getting members involved in the station.
Yeah, absolutely. Being a head of department this year is been so difficult, and as station managers, we've really appreciated everything we've done. We also had a message in for Enoch that I wanted to bring out because it's lovely, and it says, no matter what time of day or night, he's always there to lend a hand and help out as much as he can. From weekly insight to elections and Big Decision, Enoch has made an active effort to be inclusive and put out the best content possible, even if it meant foregoing sleep in the process. On a personal level, I am proud to know him, as he is a genuinely nice guy who approaches others with the same kindness that makes people comfortable and happy to be at Raw. So I think that's lovely words.
It's really nice to hear. And also, again, we have our on-air team, but we also have the off-air team too. So these are the people behind the scenes keeping the station going, whether that be from live events, which we haven't done as much of this year for obvious reasons, to programming, to actually doing the actual paperwork, so being our treasurer. So we've got Rin, Toby, Dylan, Harry, Carl, Josh Gray, and Tinica as well. You guys have kept the society side going. You know, we are like a business. We've got a budget to do every year, so Harry's taking control of that. Tinica's kept our socials going. Josh has ensured our member gets trained. Carl has made sure our members are informed of everything that's going on with Raw. Dylan has helped literally with everything. He was head of live events. They've not been a thing, but he's got involved with everything regardless, keeping us going. Toby as our head of production and Ren as our program controller. You guys have kept us all going, and we couldn't be any more grateful. But Sian, again, from off our team, we've got tech as well.
Our tech team are the most amazing people ever, and most of them have not been on exec, but they've kept me and Lucy sane by explaining to us in very basic language what is happening every time the station breaks, which we very much appreciate. So we need to shout out all of you. So it's Neeraj, Harry Krishnan, Jack South, Will Hall, Connor Powell, Jacob Phillips, and Ollie Moon, and also all of our alumni that are on that tech Discord server. There's too many of you to mention. Our tech team are absolutely outstanding people, and I am just on a personal note so grateful to every single one of you, because Raw wouldn't be alive and functioning literally without you. I know we say a lot, we wouldn't have made it without so many people, but the tech team, genuinely, we would have died. So thank you for that.
Definitely, but also one individual that just keep coming up that we haven't forgotten them. You know, we're saving them till the end. I keep seeing their name in the comments. We are getting there, guys. We're promised we're getting through everybody as quick as we can. I'll bring up Farrah's comment. Adam Blunden. Now, this person has been a part of the furniture of Raw since the beginning of their first year. They have helped in every aspect of the society, both on air and behind the scenes, and they are an incredible friend to a lot of us. And they've done so much this year without even being at Warwick, without being a member of the station, and we are incredibly grateful for their time, their dedication in more ways than one, aren't we, Sian?
Yeah, Blunden is absolutely incredible. Sorry, Adam Blunden. It's absolutely incredible.
It's Blunden to everybody else.
Helped out so much with Big Decision. That would not have happened without them. So much as Raw at 50, and so much with just checking in with us at the year and telling us we're doing okay. Because I won't lie to you, I crave Adam Blunden's approval more than anything in the world. So
it's such a calming presence that gives you a bit of perspective on life, and we're incredibly grateful for that. We've been thanking a lot of people, and there is something that we would like to give out. You know, we've done an outstanding contribution award that was given to Johnny Jenkins, but Sian and I have been talking about this a lot, and there is normally at Raw Awards a Lifetime Achievement Award, and we thought,
no, there's not. We invented it.
Well, so, we needed an award that epitomised this year, because there are outstanding contribution awards, but we needed one that was the next level, didn't we?
Yeah, I think they're the person that we literally just had to give an award to. There was no one else we could imagine giving it to, so much that we had to invent an award just to be able to give to them, which is the Lifetime Achievement Award. This person has left the society a fundamentally different and better place than how they found it.
They, first of all, on a personal note, are so kind, they're so caring, they radiate positivity and are extremely talented. They don't realise how much what they do.
Yeah, definitely. I think we know that wherever this person ends up, they are going to have an incredible future and create real change, and we are backing them all the way.
This person stepped up to the mark when Raw wanted to do Black History Month programming in the last year, so not just this academic year, the year previous, despite at the time not being on exec, and single-handedly organising a massive movement on air.
Yeah, they encouraged so many people that had never considered being in Raw or that they had a place in Raw to do radio. They created inclusive spaces to share ideas, and they arranged a mass training initiative to get so many more people involved. Some of those people went on to be regular show hosts and contributors, and even departmental deputies. That this just one person, I think we just want to say, has made such an incredible contribution in creating that space.
Yeah, their incredible hard work went on to be the key element, to which we received an Isle of Student Radio Award from the SRA for Best Team, and a Student Radio Award that we won at the end of last year for Diversity, Equality and Inclusivity.
Yeah, I don't think this person fully, or Raw, has given credit fully to the massive impact this person has had on these successes. I think it's been overlooked, and it can't be understated how much their hard work, their creativity and their excellence has gone into shaping Raw and shaping Raw successes.
Definitely. So moving on to this year, this person stepped into a key position in Raw in the middle of the first lockdown. So, not just joining an exec at the beginning of the year, but joining halfway through a lockdown. They brought the role so much dedication and they've been incredibly successful within it.
Yeah, I don't know if we've got any guesses yet, but as our head of marketing, they have been absolutely outstanding and have given up their time and their energy consistently, often at the last minute, to make Raw socials what they are.
Yeah, and on a personal note, both Sian and I can attest to how wonderful this person is to be around. When we could be in the office, when we could be in the studio, their personality can just light it up. And we've had many a giggle, even virtually this year.
Yeah, this person's achievements have often been described as Raw's achievements, and at times they haven't been given the full credit they deserve. So we wanted to make sure that they realise before they leave Raw just how appreciated they are by the entire society.
And I think, Sian, you should have the honour of announcing, as I did, outstanding contribution.
I think it's been guessed the YouTube comments.
Yes.
But the Lifetime Achievement Award for Raw 12:51 AM very proudly goes to Olamide Ajisafe.
Yes, this lady has done so much over the past year, and Sian and I are incredibly grateful for her sanity. At times when we thought the world is falling apart, she's appeared. And yes, I'm sorry, Lamy, we are making you cry. We wanted to embarrass you as much as possible because you don't realise how much you've done for us, my love. And we couldn't, we would normally recognise this at with a drink and a dinner, but sadly we are unable to this time. But
yeah,
we want to thank you on behalf of Rob.
Yeah, Lammy's such a talented presenter, and they make what they do look absolutely effortless. I have watched so much of their content and it's absolutely incredible. But I also think what Lammy's achieved in her time at Raw is that I've had so many conversations over the last year talking about inclusivity in radio, and the fact that so much of the obstacle to inclusivity in radio is that people don't feel like their voices deserve to be heard, and they don't feel like their voices are the ones that we should be listening to. And Olamide has always created spaces for those voices in her shows, in her programming, in her own personal projects outside of Raw. She's always created those spaces. And I'm so grateful that because of Olamide's impact on the society, so many more people know that their voice should be heard just because of her. So thank you so much. We've also got some messages from members of our exec about Olamide that I think are really brilliant.
Definitely, one of which Olamide has done such an incredibly job with all the publicity work. She's been working really hard and always make sure everyone's stuff is publicised as in the many as ways that it can be. We've been super lucky to have her on exec. Sian and I can attest that immensely, and she's also an excellent person to work with. And another one we've had, it may have only been a little while, but working with Lammy has been wonderful. She's a fantastic collaborator, a talented creator. I can tell she's got an amazing career ahead of her, but most importantly, she has a brilliant sense of humour, has some good laughs together whilst running the accounts. And this is from our head of publicity, Amy. I hope, you realise how much Amy appreciates you over the past year.
Amy and Olamide are just the dream team. We've had another message that said she has just been an absolute powerhouse. Being head of marketing, especially when the station relied on it more than ever, is a hard job, and she absolutely smashed it. She's supported everyone with their projects throughout the year, from departments to specialist programming, and she has just been amazing to work with.
And again, is another one from another exec member. The problem with serving with Olamide on exec is that no matter what you do, you won't be the best exec member. I think this is quite an apt comment from our head of News, Enoch. Alameda is simultaneously an amazing inspiration and a fantastic supporter. The fact that I've been able to work with her before she inevitably becomes a massive success will be the highlight of my year. And I have to say, Sian and I agree there wholeheartedly. We are incredibly grateful for you, my love. And you're now crying. I'm sorry. Intention, we're all crying. The intention wasn't to make you cry. We just wanted to make you realise how much your work and time and dedication to the station, even before being on exec, is greatly appreciated.
So yeah, I'm sure we will create some sort of certificate to give out so you don't get in trouble. You and Johnny.
It's fine. It'll be good. It'll be chill. We wanted to recognise you guys, so we do appreciate it. But we are going to be going to the end of this stream tonight. We're nearly over an hour. We're over time. It's fine. It's chill. You know what? We roll with it. Imagine if we were on air. It's all good. We one minute rolls into the next. So from Sian and I as station managers, we would like to say a big thank you, if we haven't said it enough, to our exec this year. No matter who you are, no matter what you've done, big, small, indifferent, we really, really appreciate you, your time, your energy, and your dedication.
Absolutely. We also want to say thank you to our members and absolutely every single person that's helped out this year, whether you're alumni, whether you're not a member, whether you've literally just watched one of our YouTube streams, given us a like, commented on something. Every single one of you support means the absolute world, and it means that Raw is finishing its 50th year strong, which is something that even when Raw 50 is happening, I thought might not be a possibility. So thank you so much for that. We also want to give a thank you to Jasmine Parker and Kate Rice from the Boar. Yes. You two have been the saviours of our sanity this year, and it's been lovely to be able to talk with you guys and collaborate with you guys. You've been amazing. So thank you to you guys, and thank you to the Boar. We love a strong media connection at Warwick. So thank you for that.
It really does. It makes us realise that we're not alone, and at a time where media is playing a really key role in keeping people involved, but also might be struggling financially, especially with COVID, we know how important radio and papers and journalism in itself is. Whether we might just be student journalism, but this is where a lot of people start. So thank you to you two, as Sian said, for our sanity, the laughs, and also maybe the odd crying or hissy fit along the way, but it's certainly made it.
Yes, and also before we end the stream, there is one more person that I would like to thank. They are the most important person through this year. They are the only person that's kept me sane through COVID, and they're my best friend. And I could never have done this year without you. Raw would never have done this year without you, Lucy. You
got him before me. That's not fair.
You are incredible. You sacrifice so much of your time for Raw. You are the best person at saying it how it is, which I'm not. And you're so supportive, and everyone at Raw loves you so much. And I'm so excited that you're going to be carrying on for another year in this role, because it's what Raw deserves. And thank you for doing that. But on a personal level,
can you not do that? You interrupted me.
Had hundreds and hundreds of hours of FaceTime calls over the last year. I can't believe how strong we're ending off this year. I'm sad that we didn't get to have more breakdowns in person and they were just over the phone. But you are absolutely an incredible station manager. So thank you from me.
You got in before me. That's not fair. I was trying to get in there first. I thought you were going on to something else. You're not following the plan that I've got here. So thanks for that. I can't thank you enough. I'm not going to get emotional because it won't be pretty. For my face, I'll come up in red blotches and it won't be a good look. You have been by my side from, we didn't know each other as well when we were in our second year. We got together as heads of department and we sort of made friends that way. And I remember when there were rumours of sort of people saying, oh, Lucy should run for exec, maybe go for SM. I was like, nah, I'm not doing that. I'm not that insane. And you were one of the instrumental person in getting me to run. And I will be forever grateful for that. And I will be forever grateful for your time, your energy, your kindness, and your sheer determination to make me feel and be a better person. And for that, I'm incredibly grateful. Our many hours on the phone, on video calls. I'm sure there's been some questionable behaviour on that. You know, I've seen my mum walking many a time and sort of go, "Are you talking to Charlotte?" It's Sian. Sian, it's all fine. You're talking to Sian. The world is right. And I can't thank you enough. We will celebrate in person. So if you see Sian and I under a gazebo in the middle of campus having a drink, that is where we will be having a drink when we eventually see each other again. You know,
Yeah. I haven't seen you in over a year.
No, we've done it all with a year. Oh, I've also, my mum's just passed me. This is Sean. Sean the Sheep has also been on most of our calls as well. He's wearing a mask. He's COVID secure. But
that's lovely.
We can't, it's good, isn't it? But one thing we should do, we need to do a proper handover. Now, normally we would do these speeches crying at Raw Awards. We would make a big thing of this. And this is the way we've got to do it. We've got to do it virtually. But Sian, thank you. I am going to give you the biggest hug when I see you.
I thought you were going to boot me off the screen then, and I was
yeah, no, I'm just going to kick you out completely. We need to bring on who we're going to be handing over to. 'Cause I'm not technically handing over. I'm staying.
I'm handing over. So I will introduce it. We are handing over to the bronze best newcomer at the Student Radio Awards. We're handing over to one of the most impressive young women I've ever met. We're handing over to someone that loves Raw arguably more than me. We're handing over to just the most incredible person, and there's no one else I would rather fill my shoes next year. We're handing over to Rin Dacheva as our next manager.
I said she's
gonna make me cry.
Right, we've got a rule, guys. We can't start crying because if one of us starts, we'll all start in a bit of dominoes effect. This does not make for a good live stream. People are not watching this to see us crying. But
I hope not. That would be.
I really hope not. I am very close to it. And I think after this, I will be. Because Sian, we've done this year together and we're ending it together, and I couldn't imagine it any other way. But we've got a new person stepping into the fold who decided that it would be a good idea to run to VSN with me, and I don't know if that was a wise decision or not on your part, my love.
Oh no! Seeing the amazing work you guys have done, all I can really hope for is to do my best and just hope I can do as much as you guys did over the last year. I'm so thankful for all of the trust you have put in me. That, honestly, that means the world.
Yeah, so last year at Raw Awards, Lucy and I took over officially. This is your official handover as SM. And we made a promise to our members, not knowing that what was going to happen. We made a promise to our members, if I remember rightly, that we were going to keep Raw a place where everyone loved to be, and we were going to keep Raw as the society it is and everything. So I wanted to know, what's your promise to our members as the new station manager? Not to put you on the spot
now. Wow, thanks for that one. I think all I want for Raw is, yes, I obviously I want it to be a place for everyone, but I just want to give back to Raw what it has given me. The experience I've had has honestly, it's been the highlight of my uni experience. Degree, not that important, but it's meant everything to me, and I just want to be able to pass that on to other people, to have that great experience, to get involved in something they could have never thought about. And yes, I think I want Raw to stay a place for everyone, and I just want Raw to be it's just meant so much to me. It's so hard to put it in words. I just want new people to have the same incredible experience I've had.
Yeah, I just want Raw to be a place. Is my thing. But just before I leave as station manager and leave it over to you wonderful ladies, I just want to personally again thank everyone that I've ever met in Raw. I joined Raw as a I joined Raw in a very weird circumstance. I walked up to Raw in the Society Fair to get a pair of free headphones, and I followed them on Snapchat, and I told the people at the Society Fair, I can't talk, I can't do radio, it's not for me. I didn't join Raw until my second year at university, when I was the co-host of the outstanding James Waterhouse. Just forgot to mention as well on this stream, James Waterhouse, best silver winner at the Student Radio Awards for best producer. Forgot to mention that. And I joined as James's little apprentice in radio. James, you know how much you mean to me, and how much you've done for me over the last few years. But James, and the wider thing, Raw, gave me a voice. It gave me confidence in myself. It gave me the ability to laugh at myself, which I couldn't before. It gave me, I don't want to say a personality, but it gave me really everything. Everything I am now is because of Raw, because I joined in a stupid co-host competition, 3 years ago? No, 2 years ago. I don't know how long it's been.
It's too long.
Wow, it's not been very long, but every single person I've met at Raw has contributed to the person I am today, and I'm so glad to be leaving Raw with the most incredible exec going into next year. Members, you're so lucky to have the exec that is taking on, and I have absolute confidence in them. I hopefully, as a closing statement, please fix the Raw wikis so that I can be mentioned in the Raw wiki. I would just like that to be a thing. So
as Blunden told you to say that, it's on the second like, fix the Raw wikis. But no, Sian, on my behalf, is my best friend, my partner in crime for a year, and that's going to continue. That's not going to end with this. You're going to permanently be my partner in crime, and half of that, as we've joked with our exec, the dictatorship that we've had over the past year. I can't thank you enough for your time, your effort, and your dedication. Raw wouldn't be what Raw is without you. And I think to end this evening, I should bring all of the exec on that have been joining us and taking this walk down memory lane: Carl Hanningway, Enoch Kungu, Josh Sim, Charlie Humphrey, Jacob, Sophie, and Oscar. Thank you guys for joining us this evening. It's been a pleasure. It's been wonderful. It's been an honour. Thank you to everyone who's been watching, who's been dropping in and out, and having a look. We do appreciate the comments and the kind words, and we appreciate everyone for getting involved.
And the party doesn't end here, because if you go to our Raw Facebook page on the event for What a Rawful Year, you'll find a link to a Teams call, classic Teams call, we're having a social after this, where everyone can just have a catch up, have a drink. So absolutely everyone's welcome. Alumni, members, not members, randomers from the street, you're welcome to come onto our Teams call and just have a chat and just have a celebrate, and maybe talk about some of your memories from Raw, and what Raw means to you. So I really hope you join us straight after this.
Do take care. Do stay safe. Stay safe even in the meantime. And a thank you from me, from our exec, and a big thank you again to you, Sian. So take care. Keep an eye out on all the socials for what's going to be coming out over the next year, because it's going to be an exciting one. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Raw.